introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intention is teaching that talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. That ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology. Really, dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin, yeah. He says recognize trauma, push past the pain. If you got a problem, go look at his frame. Work your perspective and look at it change. Find a goal, set it in critical thing. Manage time, self-awareness. These are the few of the things he's trying to get you to do every day. Do every day. Led 5 schools to increase test scores with his teacher principal collaboration. Things he gives to you will have you take you drive to the next level. But first, you need to get some fuel at gas station. Supporting education leaders, creating a culture for kids that'll last for ages. Lack of access to quality professional development, that's outrageous. Got his doctorate in education, leadership, research, make changes. Need to put the kids first and raise them. Need to teach them they worth, stop playing. Later on, they gon' run this nation. Dr. Joe with his dissertation taught to those who would fix, make changes. I introduce you to Dr. Joe Griffin, a speaker, consultant, and author's intentions. The teaching and talk is to broaden their vision. The things they weren't taught when they brought up as children. Reach for the top, regardless of situations, predicaments, or your conditions. He's making history, all of the districts, increasing retention from teachers, 50 to 80%. They ain't all that you hear me. He is the mentor. He paved the way with his dip methodology. Really, dream, be persistent, face fears, seek change, go out and go get it. This what you learning with Dr. Joe Griffin. With Dr. Joe Griffin.
Great day, leaders. Let's go. Welcome to the Empowerment Zone, you all. It is indeed week 52, volume 2, week 52. Another great opportunity to grow, another opportunity to be here together. I'm so happy. I'm so elated to be here with you one more time, you all. I'm happy that you all are here as well. Please sign in. Let us know where you're streaming in from as you start coming into the stream. Definitely let us know where you're streaming in from. Definitely important, you all. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be still kicking, you all. And a couple of things have definitely been weighing on me heavily this week. I lost a student who was one of my first athletes and students. You know, I started out coaching, but he also taught him English. And great kid. Life has some serious twists and turns, you all, but as always, we have to stay committed to the process, keep doing those things that we know that are working, that make us better, that empower other people. And just thinking about that, I just want to definitely, if you've lost anybody recently, definitely want to extend you condolences as well. It's always hard, always a difficult time when dealing with the loss of someone that you taught, someone who's in your life, especially somebody from the early part of your career. So just rest in peace, Jameez. Want to definitely get that out of the way and make sure that that's known from the top of the show, you all. Been seeing some test scores coming in, Mississippi, California, and all these other different states. So you all, it's been good. It's been good. Let's keep it up. I've seen some things that have been surprising. Some scores that have been surprising. Then I've seen some scores that aren't so surprising as well. And I want to congratulate those people who have done what they wanted to do with their scores. That's a big deal, you all. Congratulations to all of those schools. Definitely want to keep that school improvement process going. Continue to do the work. Continue to use the data. Continue to chase that data. And by chasing that data, just add it up and make sure that it aligns with the instructional practices that you're pushing throughout your school. So congratulations to those schools that did well. And those schools that didn't do well, don't beat yourself up. Data's not a hammer. We want to use it as a flashlight. I say that all the time. It's not a hammer, something you just beat in over your head because it's already there. That means you can't do anything about it now, but we can move forward to do something about it. So just remember that as well. Give yourself a break. Always give yourself some grace. No one's perfect. No school is perfect. No educator is perfect. Although sometimes we try to put it as if we are, but no, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everyone has issues. Everyone has problems in this educational realm and in life. So definitely. Good afternoon, Sister Makita G. Definitely appreciate you chiming in. As always, definitely appreciate your support as well. And I want to, before we get into our topic today, I have a few other things I want to clear the house with, house cleaning things as well. And one of the things that I have noticed as a leader on this journey, I have a distinct advantage over a lot of people with my ELA background combined with my leadership experiences. So I'm thankful for that because it's not me, it's God that placed those opportunities in front of me to be able to go and get an English degree first off, come back, be able to add almost 30 graduate level English hours as well to be able to teach it elementary, middle, high school, junior college, and senior college, and to be able to integrate it into what I do in the leadership role. Because, I was principal for 15 years as well and led 5 school turnarounds. And I know that having that background gave me a distinct advantage in being able to drive literacy practices throughout all the schools, not just ELA, although that was my specific content, also through the other areas as well, because literacy goes math, science, social studies, not only just ELA. So all subjects should encompass literacy strategies. And with that in mind, we got to always think about how we're going to move the needle with the data, right? So I want to preface those things with that little talk right there, because that's important. That is a crucial point. And if you're looking to improve your school status, you've got to begin with the literacy piece, because if they can't read the test, if they can't comprehend the questions that are being asked, if your teachers aren't driving up their reading school skills through the different instructional practices that they're using, that's going to cause a problem on the back end with that data. So today I'm going to outline you a lot of different things that you can implement right now across the board that's going to automatically help you drive up your student achievement. Now, a couple of those things that I normally would have in that presentation have become a part of my Tier 2 instructional practice presentation that one of my schools paid for just this past week. So I would never, once something becomes a presentation, I can't just come out and give it away. And I've got people who actually have brought me in to provide the professional development training to their staff. But with that in mind, I still want to be able to give you add value just like we've always done. And one of the things with adding value, you are, because you got to give. You got to give out here, you are. And you got to make sure that you're giving. One of my people asked me just, I would say about 2 days ago, asked me the question about why do I continue to do this live stream, right? Ask me that. I'm going to tell you what else they asked me too, but I want to say that part first. Why do I continue to do it? Because somebody needs the value. It might not be you. It might not be that person, but somebody needs the value. And as long as I know that people are tuning in, people are getting value, people are gaining and learning and growing along with me, because it's growth for me also. When you say why do I keep doing that? What do you mean? Because I'm adding value to people. We're growing, we're learning together. Some people really need this platform. So I'm thankful for that, because it's not about me. I had to take myself out of it over 50 shows ago, y'all. I'm at 52. And I only took a break because I had family in the midst, right? But the commitment has to be there. And it can't be about why you're doing it. It's got to be the reason that you're doing, that you're giving. You're trying to make sure that people have what they need to be successful. Another question that came out of this same conversation asked me, why do I bring on other people? Because we can't do things in isolation alone. Anything that is going to have fruition, it must have the vision that is to empower an entire group of people, you are. So I got to make sure I bring in on people who are helping as well, who are adding value to you as well. And one thing about it, Just because you allow someone else to shine, that does not mean you're dimming your own. You got to be committed to this educational piece, you all. That's the difference. You got to be committed to bringing value to those students, to bringing value to your teachers, bringing value to the leaders, bringing value to your community. All of that is crucial, you all. So with that being said, that's why I do it. That's why I do it. It's not, it's not like I'm getting a paycheck from this. It's not like this is time that could not be, spent in other places, because I had to prepare for this as well. It's not easy to just come on every single week and give and give and give. You have to actually prepare for this. So I'm thankful. So when they asked me that question, they asked me one other question too. Why are you always liking people's posts that's supposed to be doing the same thing that you do? Now, man, I said, do I look like you? Do I look insecure that I'm worried about someone else who does the same thing that I do? You think I'm just going to constantly look and never like it and I'm watching it or something like that? That doesn't make sense. Now, you may be the person that can do that. That may be something that you can do, but me, I don't have that in me. If anybody that has been knowing me know that that's just not the way I operate. I love to see people succeed. I love to see people doing what they're supposed to do. I love people putting their information on display. How else we supposed to learn and grow other than to see that talent come outside of you? That's the only way. So when we're thinking about that, that's important that you realize that. And with that, you all, I'm gonna get ready to get into I'm gonna do a poem and a prelude today, you all. I'm gonna do a poem and a prelude today. I always give you that prelude, but this poem also is very, very on point with our topic today. Today, of course, we're talking about literacy strategies, increasing comprehension and student achievement, right? Literacy strategies that work. And as we get into that, before we get into the prelude, I just want you to know that the sacrifice is in the commitment. The sacrifice is in the commitment. All right. And I want to lead you in with Be True. It's from Home of the Blues Poems for the Spirit, Heart, and Soul. It's actually the last poem in that particular in that particular book. But it's called Be True. Believe, struggle, work hard. There's no limit to what you can do. Aim for the stars because they're not far. To yourself, be true. Understand that there are ups, but with ups also come downs. Be committed to excellent achievement, and great rewards and benefits will be found. Realize that nothing comes easy. If it does, it's probably not real. Be hungry for what life has to offer you and approach life with much zeal. Realize you push forward when times get tough and persist with the desire not to be denied. Failure is not an option, and it means nothing if you truly, truly tried. Be honest and true in all that you do and have faith that he will take care of you. Be true, you all. And with that poem, I want to go into the prelude. The sacrifice is in the commitment. And commitment is something that you still hold on to long after the first initial feel of emotion, or after you first have said, this is what we're going to do. After you first said, I want to be an educator. I want to commit to teaching students, learning the craft, and being the best educator that I can be. And then 20 years later or 15 years later, you still own that same commitment. So the sacrifice is in the commitment. You say, what in the world are you talking about, Joe? How's the sacrifice in the commitment? Well, first off, you got to pay something. You're going to have to pay, whether it's time, money, energy, resources, whether you got to go and get the professional development that you need, whatever it is, you're going to pay. You may have to feel neglected sometimes when you committed. You may have to feel overlooked sometimes when you're committed to something. But at the same time, because of that commitment, that allows you to stay, that allows you to continue to focus, that allows you to continue to grow, that allows you to see past the bad times, see past the adversity, because the sacrifice is in the commitment. You already know that it's something must be paid. Are you willing to pay for that commitment, right? Are you willing to stand in the gap for students? Are you willing to stand in the gap for your teachers, or are you just gonna let things be as they are? Be settled, be understanding, just be relaxed on what you really know needs to really occur in that moment. So it's a cost with commitment. That's the first thing. And realize that you got to pay. You got to pay. Second thing about the sacrifice being in the commitment. Are you willing to stand alone until others join the movement? Are you willing to spearhead the movement? Right? Because that's part of the sacrifice. Are you going to be that teacher who never tries the high yield instructional practices that you know that your leader already put in place to help the school and help the students, but because you're worried about the perception from the teachers around you that you don't try it? Are you that leader or that principal who refuses to try different initiatives that you know are going to help your school, going to help your teachers, help your students, but because there are other schools in the district and the other principals don't want you to outshine them, or to have the superintendent have you all start doing it as a whole? Oh, that's just more work, right? So are you willing to stand alone for your vision? Are you willing to make that commitment and understand that we're doing this for a reason? Yeah. The sacrifice is in the commitment. That's the second thing. Thirdly, the sacrifice being in the commitment. You got to understand that you can't confuse compliance or convenience with commitment. You can't confuse compliance. You can't confuse that with commitment, right? You got to understand that I'm worthy. I am here because of the sacrifice, right? And the sacrifice, it proves your seriousness. So you don't want to confuse convenience with commitment. Oh, I've been teaching here for 15 years. I've been principal here for 7 years, so I'm not going to rock the boat, right? Because it's convenient, because I remain compliant, because it's a job. But all along, you knowing that more needs to happen for students. The sacrifice, you all, is in the commitment. Let's go, you all. Now we're going to get ready to get to some content today. Iron sharpens iron. Definitely appreciate that. Doc Makita G, we appreciate you today. All right. So with that being said, let's get ready to get into some content, you all. Some leadership strategies that work. I know that you all are hungry for the information. I know that you are ready to go back to it when you get in there tomorrow. Do something fantastic for students. Do something to put teachers in a place where they can be who they need to be, so they can give freely, so they can make sure that every single day their planning is up to par. We have what we need in place so students can be successful, and leaders in turn are doing the same thing as well. Because this is the thing, when you're talking literacy, as one of the communicatory skills go up, so do all of the others. As speaking, writing, listening go up, all communicatory skills increase. As one of them go up, so do all the others simultaneously, right? So we got to understand that part of it when we're dealing with literacy to begin with. And that's whether you're on the elementary, middle, or high school level. Whatever level you're on, you try and get those scores to understand that part of it first. So if I can get you to speaking, if I can get you to reading, if I can get you to write, if I can get you to listening to more in-depth conversation about the content that I need you to master, guess what? The comprehension gonna go up automatically. When comprehension goes up in students, achievement comes up right together simultaneously. So we must understand that process first. And we upload that all the time into our schools, into our classrooms, to our business. Speaking, reading, writing, listening all the time in different forms. You know, we've probably heard me talk about the read, write, think, create techniques. Then I talk about think, write, create, read, discuss techniques. Discuss, read, think, write, create techniques. And in no specific order, because this is a high yielding literacy strategy in itself. Because as one of those skills go up, so do all the others. So let's start there first. That's number one. I'm going to drop y'all with about 7 different literacy strategies that truly, truly work. So pay attention, because we're going in today, and I love this part of being able to infuse the ELA side of what I do with the leadership side of what I do. And then all that impacts all of your different subject areas. I can't make this up now. Let me remind you, from 2008 to 23, I was on a part of 2 times that we went down. So 13 out of those 15 years, we increased test scores, right? I was the leader in one of those years. I was an assistant. So trust me when I tell you, these are the literacy strategies that's going to get your school up. Now, you can act like you don't hear. You can act like Dr. Griffin ain't talking about, it's not talking about nothing. Even when I break those verbs, I know what they're supposed to be now, right? But you can act that way if you want to, but somebody gonna get it. We working these strategies and more, because they're gonna get a little bit more, well, a lot more, in 25 days. We got 25 days over, and I thank the superintendent, because I'm not gonna let them down. We're not gonna let them down. They're going up. We're using the data to drive the instruction, and the literacy piece gonna drive through every single subject. And the data is gonna move, because I know what to do with it. I'm thankful for that. Again, it's never me. It's always been the team that I've been around, and it's always been the good Lord who continues to put into me. I'm so thankful. You know, I am. I really, really am. But that's the first leadership strategy. You ain't here to go back. All right. Second thing, you got to model reading and writing daily. You say, now, look, I'm not doing all this reading and writing. Okay, well, you're not committed to literacy strategies that work, period. Because you got students that come to you behind in reading and writing, and Quillen tells us that there are only 2 ways to learn how to read and to write. One is to read, and the other is to write. But you're not implementing reading and writing daily. Don't do that education and math practice to your kids. Especially when you know they're struggling. You got kids that aren't proficient. How else they going to get proficient if you're not modeling reading and writing every single day? Never thought about it like that. I know, because it's got to be more than just about a check. It's got to be about us moving schools, communities, people, changing the trajectory of students' lives forever. It's in my heart, it's in my soul. I'm feeling it today. I hope y'all with me, because we in a whole nother zone today. We in a whole nother zone today. You might be with me, you might not. I gave that up. I gave Karen up a while ago too. That's how joyful and how peaceful God will make you. He'll allow you to serve those who want you to serve them. What? Yeah. We on fire. But you got to model it. You say, leaders, at your meetings, in your announcements, speak properly. Make sure you give announcements that have meaning, that allude to literacy strategies, right? Write memos and letters to your people, your students, your teachers. Allow them to see you model the reading and the writing. This is crucial. Classroom teachers, how do you model reading and writing? Think aloud. Think aloud. You actually go through the process of reading something, and then you do a think aloud. For instance, if we're reading Empowering Education Community Guide for Teacher Principal Collaboration, support. As educators, we often have the mentality of our ancestors whereby we refuse to get treatment. accept the help provided, or acknowledge the symptoms that plague us. So if I'm doing a think aloud right there, I'm going to say, now, I want to think about some of these symptoms that are plaguing us, because you got to slow it down. Illustrate to your students what that looks like, what thinking about your thinking looks like. We call it metacognition. Crucial. Model your reading and your writing daily. That's your second one, you all. That's the second literature strategy that's going to absolutely blast your scores through the roof if you can get yourself and your teachers committed to doing it with fidelity. You got to have systems in place now. It's not just going to happen just because you say model reading and writing. No, you got to have systems in place. You got to provide them the training necessary, right? You got to bring somebody in who knows how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, who can assist you, who can take that off your plate, who's about you, who sees your vision, who doesn't want your spotlight, who's already had his own, but understands the plot and the process and knows how to get your scores up and knows how to help build your community up. Yeah, this is crucial, you all. So you want to model those. Third thing that you want to do, you must embed literacy across the curriculum. Across the curriculum, not just ELA. Some people think literacy is just for your English language arts. No, 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 no. You got to provide literacy strategies for all subjects. All subjects. All right, literacy strategy for all subjects. This is crucial. And be able to implement them. Not just talk about them, but remember, we talked about the mission being an action. That's what we're doing every single day. So if we want to supply students with the information that they need to be able to read on and above grade level consistently, perform proficiently on these tests, you want to embed literacy strategies across the curriculum. And you're going to provide PD. Your leaders, you're going to provide the PD for your teachers. You're going to get that specialist in who knows how to transfer knowledge to teachers about the instructional practices or the literacy strategies that they need to be using. And then teachers, you're going to take in that information and you're going to apply it to your various subject areas. Because guess what? All subjects require reading. All subjects require reading. And Dr. McKeever just said the data tells the story. Right. We're going to influence this data with these literacy strategies. Let's go, you all. You got to love what you do. That's 3 of them right there. We're moving good in here today. How about vocabulary integration concepts? Ooh, so many different ones. So many different ones. One of the ones that come to mind that leaders can easily input, a word of the week. You say a word of the week initiative. Just one word of the week. Okay, you want to multiply that. Now, you want to multiply that. Let me tell you how to multiply, how to do your word of the week initiative. Every classroom has one. Every classroom has a word of the week. Now, depending on the size of your school, we're flipping how many different words across these various grade levels, because each grade level teacher is going to have one word of the week, or perhaps 2-3 words a week, depending on how you set that up. I might want you to do 2 words of the week. Does not even have anything to do with the lesson. They're just tier 2 or tier 3 intensive words. If you don't know your tier 2 words for your grade level, you gotta go find those, you all. We talking that talk today because we don't walk that walk. We talk that talk today because we walk that walk to get these scores up. There were on several different times we had over 100% growth in various areas. Yeah, we burst the accountability model. Mastered it, learned it, burst it. And I'm showing you how to do it. I'm telling you how to do it. Yeah. So otherwise, you want to make sure that you're using those vocabulary concepts across the board. Sentence framing, question stems, all that'll help students produce conversation about the work. That's a literacy strategy. Remember, as I speak better, so do I read better. I write better. I hear better. As I hear better, I speak better, I write better, and vice versa. And they all bounce off of each other. So when my vocabulary concepts in place, I want to make sure that I'm providing opportunities for them to be able to speak, for students to be able to speak about the learning. What's the use of having vocabulary if I'm never able to talk and use it? What's the purpose of me having a vocabulary but not being in a position to be able to use the words that I've learned? That's two things right there, just falling under that. Now we're going to take it a step further. It's the fifth one. If you're taking notes, if you got them, I don't mind you putting them in the comments. I know you're going to get it for yourself, but I want everybody to get them too. And like I said, it don't matter how you get them. It doesn't matter how you get it. I just want to make sure you have them. I want to make sure you're able to use them. You might say, I already do that. Well, that's okay. Well, that one wasn't for you. That one was for somebody who didn't know, or who needed reiterated, or who wanted to try something different, right? Or who need a different spin, put a different spin on it. Yeah, all this is good stuff. And if you're anything like me, you just love the conversation. Yeah, you just love the conversation. And that's one thing about it. I fought my love for a very long time for education, even while I was in the educational field. Because it's not always cute. It's not always smiled upon. It's not always what we want to do, or what society even perceives us to do, right? But guess what? Man, I'm through with what society perceives. And I have been for a while now, but I love this part of what we do as educators, just being able to share. Dr. Chapman, let's go. Appreciate you, brother, Dr. Chapman. We do create growth. We do create growth. It's in our mind. Yes, we do. Thank you very much. So those collaborative literacy strategies. Now we're looking at cross-grade level, cross-curricular things that you're doing in your school, right? Right. That's going to help boost up the participation. If I've got more students participate, if I've got more teachers participate, that means that, guess what? When the end product comes along, more people will have put in, and we will gain more value overall. Well, I'll be John Brown. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to put this together, but cross-discipline, cross-grade level, book clubs, you get one in there. Then guess what? Now you come back, you shoot for the next group of students, or for your worst group of students. Because when you start getting them in, it's like contagion. Remember, one of the sacrifice of commitment is, are you willing to start it alone? Go back to the top of the show if you missed the prelude. The sacrifice is in the commitment. So if I'm trying my best to establish students increased comprehension, I got to put things in place, no matter who shows up. Because guess what? If you don't show up and it becomes a problem, now I'm able to illustrate to you that you didn't show up. You should have been with me such and such day. You should have also been here on such and such day. But you know what? We're not going to hold it against you, because we're still doing it. It's something that we're committed to. So we still have these structures in place to align with you, help you be the better reader that you need to be, so you can shine how you need to shine. Right? Yeah. We cooking on here today. We cooking. All right. Peer editing and reading buddies. None of these are outdated reading strategies. In fact, we talk about collaboration as a movement, as something that we have to do over and over again. It being intentional, not random. If I give you a reading buddy, is that not intentional? Is that not providing a structure whereby you and your partner can hold each other accountable? Now, does it work every time? Blank, no. I didn't say it did. But you got to create the culture. It's how you live in your space. When we talked about culture last week, culture is how you live in your space, in your community, in your school, in your home. Yeah. So remember that. That's important, you all. If I put the structures in place, I want to see you succeed. It's called safety nets. It's called doing something extra. It's not about the paycheck. It's about me making you a success. And if I'm not constantly adding to what we do and giving you options and exposure, is that not educator malpractice? Okay. Maybe that's too heavy for you. Maybe it's not educator malpractice, but you could do more. We're going to leave it at that right there. And then you want to understand those collaborative leadership strategies. You're talking about cross-grade, cross-discipline. Now we're going to extend that to the community. Now you're talking about family reading nights, right? You're talking about parent workshops, focus on leadership strategies or strategies that they can implement or just even know about, to be able to speak with their students about at home. You just don't know the firepower that adds to what you're already doing. Just like with your parent meeting, and this is a little bit off the leadership strategy, but it's still very, very much along the same lines. Also, if I'm having these different parent meetings, I'm offering a morning meeting and an evening meeting, a PTO meeting, then a parent advisory council meeting, and this other kind of meeting for parents. So when it comes down to it, and you've got this issue or this major problem, I'm telling you, well, you haven't been in any other meetings. You didn't come to the parent advisory. You didn't come to the open house. You didn't come to the PTO meeting, blase. But then now there's an opportunity to extend that olive branch. But we love you to start. Right? Same thing with your community reading events. They might not come at first. They might not know the importance or the value of being able to have these leadership strategies available to them. If I knew what I knew now back then or back when, wow. I took several semesters of Spanish in college. I should know Spanish. People get paid big money to be bilingual, but I only learned it for that moment. I wasn't perfect. I learned it just to get passed on the test. But if I knew then what I know now, guess what? I'd be hola. I would know it all. But I give myself grace on that too, because I can't go back and get it. So make it a community thing. Make your collaborative leadership practices a leadership practices a collaborative community thing. Encourage parent participation. Encourage community participation. You got to put it out there for them over and over and over again. Relentlessly. Even if you have to be alone. Remember, one of the sacrifices of commitment. Are you afraid to do it alone? And then we said, don't confuse convenience with commitment. Just because it's convenient. Just it's convenient. It's so now we committed. No. That's not how that works. Commitment against something over and over and over again. All right. 16. It may be 7 you all. But we cooking today. You want to leverage those signature strategies. You know, I talk about signature strategies on a few different episodes. And one of the things that really irks me, you all, and I'm going to tell you this because I'm going to be at your school before you know it. You don't know it yet. You going to call me? Or maybe somebody in your school community that calls me. Leverage your signature strategies. First, I'll know what they are. If I'm a leader, I need to know what my key instructional practices are that I'm pushing through my school. My teachers just teach. No, what's the strategy that you like for them to do? What are the 2 or 3 strategies that you like for them to do better yet? Because one is not going to get it. You just got one strategy, or you're not pushing any strategy. You just have your meetings. You hope people are doing their jobs. You allow teachers to grow at their own pace if they want to grow or not. No. What's your signature strategy? Every leader should know their signature instructional practices when they come in the building. This the one I'm teaching. This the one that has the highest results. It has the highest yields for impact. and I'm going with it, right? So leverage your signature strategies, and a couple different signature strategies. You can go with so many. Graphic organize, that may be a signature strategy. It aids. It's a literature strategy because you do it before, during, and after the reading, and that's a high yielding instructional practice in order to help me increase comprehension and student achievement. Is that not the name of the show? Using literature strategies that work. So graphic organize, that would definitely be one of the ones that you want to use, right? Some of your annotation strategies, and there are a lot of them. But again, that active reading concept, annotating while you read, taking notes while you read. It's high yielding. It's highly impactful. You're talking about if you get educators using these type of strategies with fidelity, oh my God. It creates consistency across your classroom when you have signature strategies flowing through your school community. Because that's what they're going to do. You got to see it as a positive thing. They flowing. And as the teachers are flowing with these different instructional practices, guess what the students are doing? Growing. Teachers are flowing with this practice, and students are growing. Yeah, we cooking on here tonight. We cooking. I'm telling you some good stuff. I hope you're listening. If you don't, that's okay too, because it's gonna be some people that listen. You gotta go where you like. You gotta like who like you. You gotta deal with who deal with you. You gotta focus on who focuses on you. So I want to provide you with these strategies, and I want to show you how to implement them. You can't lose. You can't lose. You talking about close reading across your different areas, because that's not just an ELA strategy. But I'm a science teacher and I never have used it. I'm a history teacher. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't do that over here. All we do is read timeline. No. Let's look at that text. Let's break down that text. And if you don't understand, I want to be able to show you how to do it. That's what you do as the leader. That's why you're on here listening, so you can pick that up, then take it back to your teacher. That's what you're supposed to do. Teachers, you on here picking it up so you can come back and do it for your students. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what leadership is. That's what leadership does every single time. We grow with and through other people. You can't do it alone. You can't develop the talent on the inside. It's got to come out. It's got to come out, you all. So I got another one that I'm going to give you. And this one is really quite simple. Celebrate the wins publicly. Spotlight those students who participated in the essay contest. Make different types of essay contests that make the students who don't necessarily want to write to participate in the essay contest. Tell them to write about the video game. You got to be creative in ensuring that our students have the opportunity to increase comprehension and raise student achievement using literature strategies that work. Using literature strategies that work, you all. Poetry slams, opportunities to speak. Your students love these. We got to give it to them. Appreciate you, Dr. Houston. Personalized, definitely. You got to personalize that instruction. Definitely appreciate you, Doc. You know, because we cooking on here tonight. We in my area, we bridging the gap between literacy, leadership, test scores, data, all of that. Because guess what? As your literacy increases, so does everything in your life and your surrounding. And it's your surrounding area, your community, your school. That's why we here. As the kids say, no cap. But celebrate it publicly, you all. Those publishing walls. When you got kids that are doing what they're supposed to do, put it on the wall. You got kids that are scoring well on the ACT, that are scoring well on your state assessments. You got to celebrate them publicly. That's the literacy strategy. Me making sure that I have different types of practices that will reach all learners. Because if I'm just having contests and events, using strategies that only the high-performing students would benefit from, what's the benefit of me as a low-performing student pushing myself to read and write daily? There is none. Yeah, I'm gonna make you think different every single time you step on this platform. Because if you're not the reason or the person who's helping them do that, helping them increase their mind frame for comprehending this literacy piece, why am I here? So we can push out worksheets so you can answer me yes and no questions all day? No. So we got to reframe this. Literacy is not just ELA. It's not just ELA. Okay? We got to make sure we understand that at all times. And you make literacy visible. You make literacy visible through your culture, through recognition. You make it an honorable thing. You make it a good thing, a positive thing. You constantly talking about literacy strategies that work. You constantly feeding your students, your teachers, different ways to improve their reading. As we improve in our reading, we become better all the way around. Woo! Literacy strategies that work, you all. Literacy strategies that work. So the commitment is in building towards something bigger. And anytime you got students' lives in your hand, you got students' lives in your hand as a leader as well as a teacher. And nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. Understand that. But when you stand in the gap and you committed, it's not about compliance. It's about commitment. It's not about convenience. It's about commitment. When you're committed to something and you see that bad poem that the English teacher is going over in your classroom, you got to say something. I did it. One of the many things that, may have pushed out a different outcome, but that was a poem and the teacher had some advice for those who would end up in prison. You can Google that poem. You're going to feel so nasty after you read it. Some advice for those who would end up in prison. And this teacher was teaching this poem to my students while we got 4 kids on murder charges from that particular school who killed a kid who also went to that same school, and you're teaching some advice for those that will end up in prison. That's not the literacy strategy we using here today. And I'm going to say something. Regardless of what the outcome is, whatever happens after this, as a leader, you got to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're standing in the gap for students. Yeah, I want my students to read, but I want you to read appropriate material that's going to help us increase these literacy strategies. Let's go, you all. That's about 7 to 8 if you combine one of them, different literacy strategies that work. I'm going to definitely have to do a part 2 on this. I had to shave these down from about 25 different strategies, you all. That's just how hard I go with that literacy piece. Because, again, it's not just ELA. And as a leader, you got to understand that I need literacy going through all my subjects. Not just English, math, science, and history either. Also your electives, right? I need you reading. I need you writing daily. I need you to be able to improve your skills. And the only way to improve reading and writing, one is to read, the other is to write. Let's go, you all. And with that being said, you all, I just want to, again, make you very, very aware of what I've been called to do, because it's really a calling. And sometimes calling come in different ways. But just being out here over these, I've been full-time now for 2 years, and to see the progress, I'm just so empowered. I'm so enlightened. I'm so thankful for you all, because I know that everybody's not happy to see you continue to push regardless, in spite of. It's kind of like people want to see you do well until you're doing better than them sometimes. That's why they ask questions like, why are you supporting such and such? Right? Why you continue to do a live stream and then sometimes you only have 5, 10 comments? Because I already know it's 500, 600 that's watching it after that didn't come in. You may have not known that. That tells me that somebody needs what I'm saying. Somebody's feeling those words that we're putting down. Somebody's using these instructional practices in their school to make a difference. Then you keep coupling that, and then people start to ask you, hey, what can you do? Well, what you need done? That's the first thing, because you got to make sure it's a match. I don't want to go work for anybody. I don't want to just come work just because. I want to come into a place, number one, I can make an impact, where there's a need for my services, where I can go in and actually assist the people and they feel empowered after we're done and after we move on to the next phase. That's where love is at. That's when you know you're doing it for the purest intention. The sacrifice is in the commitment, and that's when you're going to do it whether you pay or whether you're not. That's where it's at. And that's what brings the joy in your heart. Woo! I'm going to get off here today, you all, because that little piece there almost made me emotional. I ain't lying, because I love it. I'm happy to be in it. And with that being said, I definitely want to just continue to support, continue to reach out, continue to do those things that you need to be the best that you can be. Because guess what? No one's going to develop you like you. No one's going to develop you like you. See, I can put this information out, but if you don't go do research, you don't pull in people to help you understand it, to help you implement it, because even though we talk this talk, you all, I know it's not as simple as just talking. It's not that simple. Number one, you got to be able to work with people. You got to be able to humble yourself, be relatable, understand, hey, they can come talk to me. He doing this out of his heart. He doing this because he could be doing something else. That's the crucial part. So we thankful for that. And with that, you all, I just want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to keep going, keep doing what you're doing, keep being strong in spite of, in spite of those things that have happened to you, in spite of those things that have been said to you, in spite of who did what to you. Keep going. There's something on the other side of all this for you. When you keep the faith and you have the strength to keep the faith, because that's a process too. But when you build yourself up resilient like that and you're able to keep that faith and understand, oh man, power. Oh, appreciate you, Danny. Your commitment is your strength. Ooh-wee. And the sacrifice is in the commitment. Oh, that goes so well together. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Appreciate it. Great stuff. So with that being said, you all, I just want to close out, give you a quick. Continue to live, learn, and love with your heart. Continue to search for wisdom so that you can find and live in your true purpose. And continue to be courageous, because when you're courageous, you're able to drown out all fear and be who you need to be in your educational spaces, your community spaces, your home spaces, and all the spaces that you occupy. Much love, you all. See you next week. Love what you do.